Well, friends, good to be with you this afternoon. If you don't know my name yet, my name is Jordan. I'm one of the pastors here, and if you're new at all, please introduce yourself to me afterwards. I would love to connect with you. We have an opportunity coming up this Saturday, October 16th, I believe that is. Yeah, that would make sense. Where we have a newcomers dinner. So that's for anybody that's kind of checking out our church and wanting to know more about our community and in a place of discernment in their own lives, about where God's kind of calling them to be rooted and to do life together with his people. And that's also maybe for people who have joined us in the last year to 18 months, but it's been kind of like an interesting roller coaster, and you're like, oh yeah, this is unique times, but I'd like to know a little more about Holy Trinity's history pre-unique times, and who we are, what our vision is, what our DNA and values are, and I would love to meet some of the leadership, and actually I have a few questions I would like to ask. Well, this is the sort of thing for you. We're going to be meeting in Orange in the Ronski's backyard, which is really gorgeous garden, so that itself is like a paradisal delight. And then we're going to have great Mediterranean food, and we're just going to have an opportunity for me to share some of the story and for us to connect. So if you want more information about that, please come talk to me or Lucas. If you want to sign up for that, there will be like a little registration thing on the book table out in the foyer. Is that what we call it, or do we call it foyer? Who's for foyer? Yes, we have the one British man saying foyer. That's good. Thanks. And that's Jordan, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. He's new to our community, fresh off the boat from across the pond. So we now have two Jordans gracing your presence. The second thing I want to draw your attention to is part of doing family life together, doing communal life together. There's lots of relational joys and different rhythms, these sorts of things. But a really practical thing is just like finances. Finances are part of families. Finances are part of relationships and communities. So there on the kind of announcements we've given you, we're at 3/4 through the year, and where are we at? And as you can kind of see there, we're at a place where we have about a 13% gap kind of between giving and expenses, which is amounted to around a $50,000 kind of deficit through 3/4 of the year. And a lot of that is we've been through a lot of change and transition over the last 12 to 18 months and moving new places and these sorts of things. But I think there's also a season of a lot of promise for us coming up. We're kind of pouring more into our children's and intergenerational ministry. We've got a stacked cast for adult discipleship, and we've started that up again. And are really talking about what does it look like to live in rhythms of life that are formed into the image of Christ. And we're starting to re-engage mission partnerships that we had pre-COVID and really saying we're going to reinvest. And we're having conversations now about what new mission partnerships is God actually inviting us into, and what's that going to look like for us. So there's lots of wonderful things happening in this season. So I think one of the things that I just want to invite us into as we are a family, thinking through how do we live wisely together, as Dennis said, is what is it going to look like for us to kind of invest in this community and to be a part of what God is doing in this place. And so I just wanted to make you aware up front that this is where we're at. And we're hoping that by the end of the year, we can kind of get that giving percentage more towards 90%. So that would kind of get us at a place where we're stronger going into next year with some of the ministries that we want to pour into. So friends, that's kind of where we're at. We're thankful for the ways God has provided for us. And one of them is just the fact that we have this space to meet in and gather in.